What? If we get out, Steiny, I want to dance.
What do you mean by that? Rephrase that. What do you mean?
Now, back to Steiny and Guru on 95.7 The Game.
Mahalo.
That's a 4.
Yeah. I got a 5. I didn't see it coming.
From the land of Ohana. Aloha.
There you go.
Well, let's be
Welcome
honest.
back, gents.
We ruined this vacation day one, Dibs. You don't know this. I'm not throwing you under the bus because I love you.
Beep, beep.
We were laughing at Willard because it was hot. And we were like, oh, Tahoe is just packed. And I text him like, hey, man, how are you holding up? He goes, Guru, I'm in Hawaii.
Yeah.
So I threw you under the
It
bus.
was me, 4 other people, and a bunch of
It
chickens
looks
and
like
pigs.
you had fun.
Oh,
Man.
my gosh. It's the
What
best
island?
place on earth. Kauai.
Wow.
It's the best place
The
on
Garden Island? Is that the Garden?
Yes.
I think,
And,
yeah.
on the way out of town, it was Kauai, but now that he's been there, it's
Kauai.
Kauai.
This guy.
This
That's
guy's
right.
unbelievable.
It's just like when I moved to Boise, and then I lived there for a while, and it's Boise.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Come on.
Just
the
like-
pronunciation sensation, dude.
That's
There's
a
another
buck.
one in
Yeah.
Idaho. It's Moscow. Moscow.
Not Moscow.
Moscow.
Correct. Correct.
Did you have some pig?
We did not have any
Okay.
poi.
Yeah.
We did go to a luau, but I
Look,
just
that's
ate some teriyaki chicken
There you go.
and a coconut dessert that was horrible. But anyway, the
Okay.
show was fantastic. Yeah, man. I appreciate you guys.
How
all
were
holding
you
it down.
winding down? Because that's what I want to see a documentary on, is when you're on vacation, kind of like mine yesterday. I didn't go anywhere, but the thought process of we need to pack the luggage. We're going to get on the, that's kind of
mean on the way out or the way
on
back?
the way out. I saw your picture. The sun was setting to where you were like, we got to get ready to head back, Cali.
That's the easy part. The hard part is landing, and it's just almost like your to-do list lands with you when the plane hits the ground. And you're like, oh, gosh, I forgot that I have a life back here.
Yeah.
Responsibilities,
Yeah.
bills,
Divers is waiting on you.
right?
Yeah.
Like, just like, oh, damn it.
Diver's waiting to take the day off.
Seriously.
4 hours of listening after all that talking I've been doing.
Yeah.
My God.
Right?
And you know, when you always have a good vacation, you always have that thought. I think I'm going to move here. I'm quitting my job. and
well,
I'm going to move.
I'll tell
here.
you what, I hadn't been there in almost like 15, 20 years.
To where?
To Kauai. And
Kauai?
Kauai.
Thank you.
And the last time I was there, I remember leaving there as a 20-something-year-old person going, someday I would like to own property here and like not retire here, but like maybe spend a few months of the
Amen.
year here someday. Nothing has changed with that goal. Other than that, I'm no closer to it than I was 20-some-odd years ago.
Nice, man.
And I know that the prices have only gone up during that time, but man, I have of all the places I've traveled, and there's still many left, I have not found a place that I like better than there.
That is incredible.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. There's no doubt about it.
Oh my gosh.
No doubt about it.
It's so good.
What I was thinking. You think about, I did do it once, and it's the greatest feeling of all time. When I was 23, working at the Reading Times newspaper in
Nice.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
I came out. to
Making
visit.
about $9.50 an hour.
I was making,
This is great.
I want to say 28? 28K?
28K. No, these
I
are my
was gonna say
favorite
28
stories.
an hour.
No,
I was
no,
like,
no.
boy,
No.
came out hot.
28K is about $12 an hour. So I always love his stories because they always relate to what he was making. And it's usually laughably small,
Yeah.
but,
Well.
this was 1984.
And when I moved out here, I took a pay cut.
Yeah, exactly.
I worked at a legal publisher, Matthew Bender and Company.
Lowballed ya.
$18,800.
Oh my God.
That was the starting salary. And I had to pass a drug test.
Oh,
Did you?
Gutsy.
I did.
Okay.
They had to go to the cards, and it was a split decision,
Yeah,
but he got the
exactly.
win.
hippie lettuce was illegal then. Yeah.
Oh, my
What
God.
those dispensaries did.
No, I visited a friend in California when I was 3 years out of college working in Reading. I came out here, and I'm like, I'm gone. I'm moving out here.
Go on.
So I went back, and my boss said, when are you moving out there now? And I said, pretty soon, Mike.
And he
And then I
did.
gave my 2 weeks notice about a week later.
And where
dope.
did you visit when you came out? Like, what cities and what did you do? Like, what was the big hook? Because you've been here now for 30,
The big hook
30
was
something, right?
getting out of Reading, Pennsylvania.
No, but when you came out here and you were somewhere and you were like, wow, this is the sauce.
I was in San Francisco. I had some buddies here, Dave, and those guys I still knew a
Okay,
little bit.
yeah.
So I came out over Christmas one time and a New Year. Had a great time and was just like, I'm out. I'm out.
I'm out.
I just didn't want to live the rest of my life in the same place that I grew up. There you go.
Yeah.
Back to Wiggins.
Well, I'll say this.
What's up?
You left, Draymond was talking. He got paid. They gave him his money. He earned that.
Yeah, Friday with JD live at 3:01. JD broke it.
Yeah, but it's incredible to me about, I don't know if you guys heard the sound bites we've been playing from his appearance on the PG-13 podcast.
We're going to get to some.
Podcast P.
So I don't fantasize because that's too strong of a word, but what I do try to do in my life when I look at pro athletes is put myself in their shoes. And so many times I give in Draymond the gold jacket and other players of leadership and leaders. So follow me if you can, like Twitter, which I'm about to leave. We'll get into that.
Oh, good Lord.
He said he didn't know Kuminga or didn't take the time to learn him, so how could he lead him? And to me, that's leadership 101. I don't care what job you're in.
Yeah.
You got to learn who you're with. Steiny and other people today were like, the age difference. Well, guess what? I'm older than Evan. I feel like we're good because I use my principles with Steiny, who's my age, and they don't change. So we talk about this warrior culture, and I don't want to come down Dre's road so hard, but I'm like, that's a myth. If you didn't know, you're okay. Dre, you got kids. Kuminga doesn't. We're on the road 41 times, guy. We're in the airport 41 times without the spouse and the kids. Hey, come over. Let's listen. Let's do this. Let's talk. But I guess I'm just having a problem with that. Not how you didn't know that, and you're Draymond Green, and you're one of the leaders.
Draymond has these moments. This is why he's so frustrating. He has these moments where he appears to be the most effective leader in the entire NBA, partially because they have 4 rings. He is the one who, I mean, he'll tell you that he helped build this defense, and whenever they win a title, the defense is always good. There's nobody else in that locker room who's had a huge voice for years. Like the Splash Brothers are quiet, so there's these moments where he's just like this epic leader. And then in the very next breath, he's the worst leader you've ever seen in your entire life. And he does the stuff that you absolutely
make sense, Mark.
unequivocally can't do. And then what I find to be maybe the most frustrating thing about him of all is he's this guy who, when things quiet down, has no problem getting totally vulnerable. And he will admit everything. He'll apologize for everything, take the blame for everything, and it takes the teeth out of everybody who's mad at him. Because and in a way, it's this passive-aggressive kind of negative where you're like, you can't punch Jordan Poole and then spend all year being like, yep, my fault. And yep, we'd still be winning. We'd still be playing if it weren't for me. But okay, let's get $100 million and do it again next year.
Wow.
You're powerless. You're like, what? And he is that guy to the organization. They're kind of powerless. Yeah. Need him, can't live with him, can't live without him.
He is a puzzlement. What do you think about Klay coming back on the last year? Or Klay and Kerr have one more year. Is that the way it's going to stay, you think, this offseason?
Yes. I think Klay is in a prove-it year where, because Klay wants to get, X, and the organization wants to give him Y, and the difference between X and Y is far greater than what it was for Draymond Green. So if you're the organization, you're saying, all right, Klay, we would love to give you $40 million a year. Go out there and earn $40 million a year. Go out there and lead us deep in the playoffs. Do what you did last year in January and February, all year. Show up in shape, for one, Klay, because you showed up last year and you were out of shape and you were awful for the first 2 months. And then you played great. And then you got in the playoffs and you played bad again. So, Klay, what are you going to be? Go ahead and be the Klay that we all know that you can be, and then we'll give you what you want. Steve Kerr, to me, is the interesting one because
Bucher was on earlier.
I heard him.
Man, I'm just saying he wasn't breaking news.
Good Lord, the gushing, Steiny. Did you give him flowers before or after the interview?
Gushing about
Rick Bucher.
Who?
You were.
I like Rick. I go way back. with
Oh,
Rick.
the effusive praise was unbelievable.
Wow. Ears are incredible.
Yeah,
I didn't get that from
I've
him.
known Rick for almost as long as you've known Rick, so I just was a little taken aback at the maybe because he was
love
giving you.
fest?
Oh, what a great question, Steiny! And
It
just the
was.
mutual love fest. It was all right.
I actually really
You had a
like-
decent interview.
I really like Rick
Yeah.
Bucher.
But I sided you too when you had Kerr on and asked him.
Yeah.
And I know it's like don't ask a politician and they'll never tell you the truth. But he said he wanted to do this for a while. I don't see him walking away from this, Kerr.
Oh, neither do I. But I agree with Dibs that I don't think that these things are going to be addressed now.
Wow.
The Warriors have done a few things, some of them small. I heard you guys earlier talking about why they didn't match what Phoenix did with Eric Gordon, something small like that.
That incentive, that option.
The
second year.
Warriors, outside of matching Draymond to Steph, in theory, have done nothing to handcuff them after this year. They obviously right now are craving more flexibility than they've had in a while. So, I think they're going to see how Klay plays and maybe how Steve feels. I think if you ask both of them right now, they want to keep doing it. And I agree also with what Anthony Slater said this morning, which is that is likely that Klay, Steph, and Dre are going to finish with the Warriors.
doubt.
But I don't think they'll lock it up now.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ, FM and HD1 San Francisco, an Odyssey station. Yeah, I think the other thing is I think they're gonna re-sign Klay next year, probably. But I do think they want to go into next off season with zero. I mean, they're gonna have to have a cap hold on it. But my point is like if you extend Klay right now for 30 the next 2 years, then you're gonna have to make another move other than the Chris Paul move to get to where they need to be. So I think they want to play another year because I think they know if he plays another year, it might be easier to pay him if he's not quite the same player.
Or it'll be easier to pay him if he is the same player. They're going to have clarity either way.
Yeah.
And I also think that the Draymond Green contract is really team friendly in terms of what Klay can get next year because Draymond's getting 22 and change this year instead of 27. So that's a $5 million savings plus all of the luxury tax this year. It's about a $40 million savings for Joe Lacob just this year. So that makes it so if Chris Paul's gone next year, maybe Klay gets that $30 million slot, or maybe you get Chris Paul and you trade Chris Paul and you bring in another player for $30 million and you pair him with Klay and Steph and Draymond, and maybe Wiggins is a guy who goes or not, but you have more flexibility if you wait on Klay.
And that's the one problem I'm having difficulty dealing with is let's just say Chris Paul, they say bye after next season. They don't get to just take that money and then go get a big boy.
Right.
But behind closed doors and the tax-wise, it works and you're lesser. But I'm just like, it's like a game of Monopoly. I perfected the rules and built this conglomerate, and then all of a sudden you guys changed the rules, right? And now it's just weird. Like the Warriors are doing nothing wrong, but it's like we can't go get you. Like Brooke Lopez, I heard you Monday. You and Alan did a good job.
Oh, my God.
But the Brooke Lopez, there was for a second, Willard, I thought, get the Warriors. Hell no.
No, he's too good.
He's too good.
That
I
was
spent
always-
a whole week while you were like putting on lays and eating apples out of pigs' mouths. Every Warrior fan, let's go get Brooke Lopez.
Brooke.
He's not even in the.
That's
he's
normal.
not even going to be in the mid-level. And he ended up getting
God.
22 million a year. Come on, Warrior fans.
He was always way too way
Always.
too good. But I'll agree with you from this standpoint. Sorry, Stan. From this standpoint, I wish there was sort of a set aside.
Set aside.
You can't just let the Warriors, Lakers, Knicks, Bulls, and Heat get all the players. But when you draft them and they're yours, and you develop them, that should not count the same way against the cap and the luxury tax.
I hadn't heard that. I ain't heard it.
That to me, the fact that the Warriors are being penalized for keeping
their
Steph,
own.
Klay, and Dre in their own uniform, to me, is ridiculous. Positively ridiculous.
And I think the nice thing for Joe Lacob is if you really understand what has to happen, he has to cut money so as to maintain actual flexibility.
Totally.
Like, if they don't get under that second apron,
Oh, yeah.
they will not have a mid-level. They need their mid-level next year. They absolutely need their mid-level. So, in a way, they are saving money, but they have to because they need exceptions. It's because they're so far over the cap.
It's one of those rare situations when fans look at teams saving money, they don't like it. I think this is a rare situation. They are saving the money in order to win.
Right.
Not saving money for the sake of saving money.
Like I don't know what they're going to do, but they're going to do something next year that allows them to have their mid-level exception.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think there's any doubt about that.
And that's where the Draymond Green contract becomes, if you really look at it, it becomes so much more team-friendly. Because if Draymond would have opted in and then gotten 2 more years at about 28 or 29 apiece, that would have crushed them for next year. But the fact that he took 22 and change this year, and it's 24 and change next year, then it's 26, then it's 28, the way that is going to escalate, it's an escalation sensation, Mark, is what it is. That's going to help them next year be able to get underneath that apron and get a mid-level player.
Yeah. And it looks like the mid-level is
12?
I think that's for the non-taxpayer exception. I think it's 7.7 for the Warriors would get a 7.7.
Gotcha.
I think I should,
Okay.
I should be better on that. Definitely. Oh, especially,
I mean,
you know what? Especially
JD.
Especially if you have a good year next year. Maybe you get back to the Western Conference Finals. It looks like, we still got action. Then that 7 can get you, maybe an important player for your rotation.
Maybe you guys can help us with something else that we want to talk about here off the top. Why am I hearing the word sell? Why is that even coming up with the San Francisco Giants?
Oh, I thought you meant the A's
me too.
and the sell shirts.
That I get.
You have to be spoiled rotten to sit here on this day and say,
I don't
sell.
get it.
Oh, come on.
I don't even understand. And I mean that genuinely. I'm not trying to.
I'm with you.
What happened? And this is, I know not most fans, but some of the fans. First of all,
they're slumping.
What happened to your competitive spirit? What are we watching here? You just leave because it was a bad week?
And you've just a week ago, it was throw the parade, get it ready.
The second part of this is when someone says sell, they usually do it in the name of development. Isn't it smarter to develop? And I'm thinking, why the hell did you just attach those two things? What does selling have to do with development? The young guys are here.
And they gave you their jolt.
And they're playing.
Yeah.
And they're not getting sent down.
Right.
And actually, part of their development might be to go through, for instance, a pennant race.
Hello.
Selling means that you are telling your clubhouse, we don't believe in you, and we're going to go get a few more 19-year-olds that we need to develop 3 years from now.
Oh, no.
I don't have any idea, and let me assure all of you out there, neither do the Giants. Like, they would laugh in your face if you brought up the idea of selling right now. But I don't even understand, like, who cares if their roster is the best roster? First of all, go out this month and try to make it better.
Right.
But secondly, why would you at 46-40 be like, I didn't like last week, that's enough of this year?
You ain't gonna hear that from me. And I was a week ago, before you left, telling Steiny and you, their formula, that stuff is still there. They're slumping. It's 162.
Yep.
He told me that last
and they're
week.
super hurt.
But
they're super injured.
But that's front running if you're gonna sit here and not act like you didn't jump on board 3 weeks ago or a month ago when the Giants just could do no wrong. They're hurt. They needed arms even when it was going good.
Totally.
But I mean, you just don't know what tomorrow's not promised. You got to go in if you got a winning record and think you can win.
Or just ask, what are we doing here? What's the point of the season?
Right.
To win.
What are we doing here?
It's to build for next year when you can win more than you can win now.
But you don't know.
There's nothing happening now. There's nothing happening now that has anything to do with next year or the year after that's preventative if you still try to win this year. There's nothing that happens, oh gosh, you could have won next year if you had sold at the deadline. No, you're going to get people that might play 3 years from now. It's just there's a weird quirk with some people where we've decided like we play fan poker and we got to decide, you got to declare, are you going high or are you going low by July 15th every year? And sell means I don't think we can win. It doesn't mean that.
Especially now in fan poker, because if you look right now at Major League Baseball, there are probably 24 teams that are in it in terms of maybe being a wild card team at the very least.
Cubs.
Shout out the
Give
A's.
us throw.
Whatever, the A's are one of the few teams that are actually not in it, but everyone else, you can play like in that game that Mark's talking about, high-low. Everybody should be going high because you never know. You get in the playoffs and you never know.
But Mark, where are you hearing that at? Because I was telling Steiny earlier in the green room, like, I'm not hearing that loud roar of sale.
It's not loud. I know that both members of our morning show tweeted about it last night.
Well, my Twitter, I hit my rate limit, so
can someone explain this to me? I'm like trying to hit
his yet.
I'm trying to hit it because so I can see what happens.
Well, you can't once you. I'm addicted to social media. It's real.
We all are.
Okay,
This is part of our
but
job.
it's my television. It's my TV
Yes,
show.
it's my newspaper.
And I try to refresh. Saturday, I like to faint because I couldn't do it. I could tweet, but I couldn't see what the world was doing, and I'm nosy by nature.
What's the limit? Like what?
I don't know what it is, but I
think
hit
it's
it.
600
Yeah,
tweets. No, of course
Is it
You
not.
had it. I
600?
thought you hit it. I thought I heard you say Monday.
Does it reboot every day?
I don't know.
600 per day?
I'm hoping it's
Yes.
going away, Mark.
Yes.
I didn't know if this was a new trial. So I
Okay.
Googled, and there it was. I wasn't the only one in distress.
I'm so-
People were like, what's going on?
I'm so excited that I haven't hit it yet. It makes me feel like I'm not
Now
as addicted as I
telling on
thought I
myself,
was.
so I'm the only one
You're
that
not.
hit it. Huh? Oh, my goodness.
Nah, your
But me and the
problem's
wife
with
went
Instagram.
bowling.
You're addicted to IG.
Yeah.
That's
The wife and I went bowling. When I figured, they didn't know why, but when I figured out I'm done, we went bowling. Get out the house. Put the phone down. They didn't know. But I'm like,
You're
yeah,
like, it's
no
like
strike.
social media
No
pandemic.
doubt.
It's just like, let's go for a walk.
But I guess
What'd you
now,
bowl? About 157?
140.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, because I mean, he's like
Reckless.
he's like Camilo Doval 2 years ago.
all arm.
All fastball, no
Unbelievable.
control.
Yeah.
He's like the Doval of bowlers. Because I got into this actually with Alan Stiles, and we need to have a legitimate bowl off here at 95.7 The Game, because Stiles was saying on Monday, he's like, I'll walk in.
300.
He's like, I'm already the best bowler in the
This is
station.
incredible.
And I said, slow your
I
roll
don't
down.
want
He's
that
6 months
award.
away from being
Yeah.
able to bowl, though, right? He's going to need to wheel himself
Yeah,
up there.
he's a little damaged.
Yeah.
Lay off of
You
him,
should have
Mark.
seen him.
But nah, he
Your
does
boy
that.
had to crutch out to go to the bathroom during the break, and we had to extend it a little bit.
Did
We
he
had to
make it
stretch
back? He
it
didn't
out.
make it back in time.
Turns out he's the second best bowler in his own family. Mrs. Styles apparently
Oh,
is
wow.
like lights
All right.
out. So we need to have a legitimate bowl off here, because I've seen you bowl, and
Well, we got a basketball
Yeah.
tournament coming up, so
yeah.
But who was the when we went to that bowling thing at Plank? Was it who? Somebody was it Freisinger? Who was like
It
really
was
good?
Danny Fry. Good
Like, he had
call.
all.
I crushed Danny Fry.
No, but somebody
Do you have
had
your-
the form.
do you have your own bag?
I have my
somebody-
own ball.
If you have your own ball, that's always
You got
the
your own
tell.
ball?
I
Yeah.
have my own little powder thing and my own gloves.
Does it say
Look
dibs
at
on
this
it?
guy.
No, I actually got the ball at a garage sale, so it actually says Ethel on it.
Ask Steiny who
Perfect.
throws the hardest bowling ball he's ever seen in his life.
Hey, Steiny, who throws the hardest bowling ball that you've ever seen in your whole life?
Daryl the Guru Johnson.
And what does that do for him?
Just-
140?
It hurts the
he
pins.
throws-
Yeah.
he also like throws it down at the ground. Like he goes.
Well, yeah,
it's
he's
just-
not going to get down there. He's a big man. You're a big man.
But I can.
No, but the greats
Man.
kind
yeah,
of.
you get your arm down
they
there.
loft it a little.
Yeah.
But Guru like.
Do you
throws
spin it
there.
or do you just?
No, it's just a
spin-
fastball.
You just a
It's just
fastball.
straight.
Yeah, just bang.
You do the spin, the pretty stuff where it
A
goes
little
up
bit.
the
I will
curveball.
feather you. I'll get you about
Yeah.
4 boards out. Your boy will feather it. We need
my
to have
gosh.
a bowl off.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, pre-pandemic, we used to have station parties.
Yeah, bowling is
But-
probably the #1 non-pandemic sport. Like, we're indoors and everybody's hands are all over. It's little things spitting things out at us.
Just pick back
Air
up
is
now.
just flying.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a great point.
Golf is the pandemic sport. Bowling's the opposite.
That's a good call.
Anyway.
No,
All right,
not a
well,
lot
you
of
guys
outdoor
just
bowling.
nail it today, and
We'll be
we'll
listening,
see you
gents.
tomorrow. It's
Yep.
great to have you back, and
Thank you, boys.
Yeah.
go Warriors.
Yeah.